Are you looking for the best CoCo bedding on the market? Watch this video because I'm going to tell you exactly what that is. What's up, everybody? I'm Jeremy. You're watching Morphs. This week's video, I'm going to give you my honest opinion of CoCo2Go and what I think of it and why I switched to it. I was using Freedom Breeder's CoCo Blox, nothing against it, but there's something better out there, everybody. So I'm going to give you my honest opinion of CoCo2Go, why I switched to it, and basically tell you exactly what I think of this amazing product. Before we get into it, though, I want to give a big shout out to Chris at B&S Reptilia. He's also the sponsor of this week's episode, so Chris, thank you for sponsoring this week's episode. And this episode is sponsored by B&S Reptilia. Chris is an awesome guy. We started talking back and forth in chats on live streams. We hung out at a couple reptile shows, and we hung out at the Pennsylvania Breeders' Breakfast. Got to know each other a little bit better, and we came up with the idea of this sponsorship. So Chris, thank you very much for sponsoring this episode. I consider you a very good friend of mine. Chris is working with about 150 ball pythons, several different North American species, such as different types of pine snakes, bull snakes, and Mexican black king snakes. He's also working with several different types of boas. He's also working with blood pythons and Sumatran short-tailed pythons, which, let's all face it, blood pythons are awesome. And on top of that, he's also working with a couple different Australian species like Woma pythons and scrub pythons. Chris is also a rodent supplier for Eastern Pennsylvania and the surrounding areas. And to top it off, he's also Pennsylvania's distributor for the Chipper and CoCo2Go, which I'm not sure if anybody knows, but I switched to CoCo2Go because it is by far one of the best substrates I think that's on the market. If you want to get in touch with Chris at B&S Reptilia, all of his information is in the description down below. Make sure you guys check him out. Look for him in live streams. Make sure you also hit Chris up if you're thinking about switching to a different type of bedding, and also if you're thinking about switching to a different type of CoCo product in general. Chris, thank you very much for sponsoring this episode. I appreciate it, brother. Thanks, Chris, for sponsoring this week's episode. I can't thank you enough for hooking me up with this amazing product. I truly love it. Before we get on with this week's video, though, definitely hit that subscribe button. All the support's greatly appreciated. Just hit it. It doesn't cost you a thing. Just hit it. Definitely hit that notification bell so you're alerted next time I upload my next video. And hit that like button and drop a comment down below. Let me know what substrate you guys are using, what type of CoCo you're using. Maybe you're not even using CoCo. What do you guys all use? I do know one thing. I strongly suggest switching. So let's get into this video because I'm excited to tell you guys what I think about CoCo2Go. All right, so slightly switching the type of style we're going to do here. We're going to do this vlog style here, kind of. So I'm going to tell you guys exactly what I think about this CoCo2Go stuff. I'm going to show you the comparison between CoCo2Go and Freedom Breeder's CoCo Blox. There's a big difference, folks. I don't know if you want to say it's a quality difference, but I consider it a quality difference. Big, huge difference. I'll show you a couple snakes where they're actually using it at the moment. And yeah, I mean, I love this stuff. It's absolutely a great product. I would consider it probably the best CoCo substrate on the market at the moment. So let's go and check this stuff out. All right, folks. So I've scooped out of my personal stash. Just to give you guys an example. One of these bins is Freedom Breeder's CoCo Blox. The other bin is CoCo2Go. Now, I can tell you clear as day, and anybody that's using CoCo2Go will tell you exactly which one is which. You can just tell by looking at it. It's that big of a difference. But I'll give you a minute to think, or not a minute, a second. Anyway, so the answer is which one's which. This here is Freedom Breeder CoCo Blox. This is CoCo2Go. Look at the difference in the consistency of it. The CoCo2Go is so much more consistent in its size. Very consistent stuff. It's very clean too. I mean, yeah, you have a little bit of dirt there, but that's not major. I mean, like I said, I just reached in my bin that I have, and this is, what I got. So you can tell, I mean, a little bit, but you're gonna have that with any CoCo substrate. But notice there's not much hair in it. Very little hair. It's just very consistent, It's awesome stuff. You don't even have to wet this stuff down, everybody. It is just ready to go out of the bag. Awesome, awesome product. Now, you go over here to CoCo Blox, which I've been using CoCo Blox for probably like 2 years, maybe 2-3 years. And I have nothing against it, but you can see it's very inconsistent. And just like the CoCo2Go, I just reached in and grabbed some out of my stash. Very inconsistent. There's a lot more hair to it. And you're gonna get a lot more dirt with it. I mean, it's not, I don't want to say it's a whole lot, but there is a noticeable amount of difference between CoCo Blox and CoCo2Go, which is probably also part of the reason why Freedom Breeder has that shaker thing. You can get all that dirt out of there and you can actually recycle it and use it for bedding for another animal, but I don't feel like spending the money on a shaker. So that is one, it's just, I like the cleaner stuff. And another big thing, I'll give you a look at the CoCo2Go again. See, not much dirt at all, everybody. I also noticed on how it's so much, like, I always thought CoCo Blox was not, you know, I didn't think it was really hairy until I got CoCo2Go. And you can just see it's just a lot of hair stuff in it. I mean, don't get me wrong, this has some, but it's not nearly as much. All right, so the one thing I do want to make mention of is your snakes are always going to get the cocoa in the water bowls. It's just, it's unavoidable. At some point, your snakes are going to get it in your water bowls. CoCo2Go, I've noticed, does not stain the water nearly as much as the CoCo Blox. CoCo Blox will turn your water like a brown, like a really nasty brown color. I don't know why, but it does. I have not noticed that at all. I don't want to say at all. CoCo2Go does stain it a little bit, but not nearly as much as CoCo Blox does. Why? I have no idea. But maybe it's a pro. Maybe it's, you know, I can't see it as a con. But it is what it is. All right, so I thought it best to actually show you guys what I mean by the staining aspect of it. Now, each cup has the same amount of pieces. Each cup has 8 pieces of cocoa bedding in. This one's CoCo2Go. This one's Freedom Breeder CoCo Blox. Now, it has technically been a couple hours less than 24 hours. But you can see that the CoCo2Go cup it's basically clear. I mean, you can't even really tell. I don't think there's any staining going on with it. But the Freedom Breeder stuff is massively, massively stained. And there again, folks, it has been less than 24 hours. Now, does the staining matter much? I don't know. But just kind of, you know, little things kind of stand out between the two. So I thought it was a very interesting experiment to show, so everybody could see what I was talking about. So let's take a look at some of the females I have on CoCo2Go right now. All right, so here is our TSK Exantic girl on CoCo2Go. You can just see, I mean, it's not dirty at all. You got a little bit of dirt there. Like I said, you're gonna have that with anything. This bedding's been in here probably, been in here for a little bit. She's due for a change here shortly. But, I mean, it's just super consistent. And she just looks really good on it. This stuff is, I love this stuff. I mean, you notice there's a little bit of hair. But all in all, not very hairy at all. I'll show you one of our other girls. And here's our pastel banana girl. And you can see there again, not much hair, not much dirt at all. You got a little bit there, but it's not bad at all. She's so pretty. And there's she, wouldn't hit her head. But I just love this substrate. I know I said I would never switch from Freedom Breeder's CoCo Blox unless I would find something better, and this is it, folks. Now here is our pewter leopard girl on Freedom Breeder's CoCo Blox. And you can see a lot more dirt. Hopefully I don't make her too angry here. A lot more dirt. I don't want to say there's a lot of hair, but there's a little bit more hair than what is in the CoCo2Go. She's such a beautiful snake. She should be ovulating any day for us, so excuse the slightly dirty tub. I didn't want to screw with any of the pheromones that are floating around just because I want her to continue on her journey there, give us a beautiful clutch of eggs. But that is Freedom Breeder's CoCo Blox. And I'll give you one more example. Here's more Freedom Breeder CoCo Blox. This is Natalia, our killer bee girl. And you can see a lot more hairy, not as consistently chunked. A lot more dirt. Freedom Breeder stuff is great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking on them. They have a great product. But I do 110% prefer the CoCo2Go. All right, now another thing I want to make mention of as well is with getting the substrate too damp. A lot of times I've had the CoCo Blox start molding if it gets too wet, and it seems like it just doesn't dry out really quick, especially in some of these rack systems. I mean, even with the ARS racks that I run, I've noticed that it just, I don't know if it holds the water too good or what the ordeal is, but I've noticed that it starts molding if it gets too wet and it can't dry out quick enough. The CoCo2Go, none of that has happened with so far with me. I've been using CoCo2Go for, I'm gonna say, like 2 months now, I think, and I've had zero issues with it, folks. Zero. No snakes have ingested it. It's a lot cleaner, no molding going on, and it still holds humidity great. And on top of it, you don't have to take, I don't know, was it 5-10 minutes to break down a block of the CoCo Blox with all of the adding water, waiting for it to swell, all that stuff. It's gone. You don't have to do that. Now there are different levels of products from the chipper and for CoCo2Go. You have CoCo2Go, which comes in a bag that's already pre-moistened. It's already been broken down. You just open the bag up, it's ready to go. You have, I think there's two different types of, or 2 or 3 different levels of the chipper, which comes in a brick like Freedom Breeder's CoCo Blox does. That does require being broken down with water and adding that and breaking that apart by hand. There's a couple different levels of that. I don't know what those levels are. I've never used any of those. The only ones I've used was the CoCo2Go. But I do know that there's one that's got a little bit more hair. It's not as refined, I guess is the way I want to say, as what the CoCo2Go is. And there's just different levels of it. And that's the best way to put it. I wish I had some examples. Definitely hit Chris up at B&S Reptilia. He'll tell you all about it. He's the best person to talk to about the different levels of the chipper because he is the distributor for CoCo2Go and the chipper. So definitely hit him up, talk to him, and he can steer you in the right direction for what you want as far as bedding. I do strongly, highly recommend, you will not regret switching though to the CoCo2Go. Definitely find yourself a distributor. Chris is the distributor for Pennsylvania and surrounding states around us. So definitely check him out. He'll hook you up. He's an awesome dude. So yeah, that's basically my take on CoCo2Go. Those are the reasons why I switched to it. It doesn't stain the water when the snakes get into it as badly. It's a lot nicer to work with, more consistent, not as hairy, not as dirty, doesn't mold. At least in my experience, it has not molded yet. So don't quote me on it. Maybe in another state where it's a lot more humid, maybe it'll mold. I don't know. But here in Pennsylvania where I'm at, I've had zero issues. I haven't heard of anybody having issues with it yet. So just think about it, folks. There is something better than CoCo Blox out there. And if you like CoCo Blox and you don't want to switch, it's still a great product. I have some still in some of my, all my hatchlings for the most part are still on it. Still have some other snakes that are on it just because I have some left over that I haven't gotten to use yet. But I have been trying out the CoCo2Go on a couple of different snakes as well, just kind of running a test experiment. And as you got to see, the two females that I showed you that are on it, it looks great. It's not, I mean, it's dry looking, yes, because I don't need to mist it, because here in my snake room, ambient humidity is right around 50, 60 in that neighborhood. So I don't need to go through it and mist it. It's just a great product, folks. You won't regret switching to it. Definitely check Chris out. He'll hook you up. So that's going to be it for this week's video. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, hit that like button, and leave me a comment down below. What are you guys using? What'd you think of this video? Was it helpful? And on top of it, also, I want to make a mention. If you'd like to sponsor an episode here at Morphs Morphs, either the normal videos throughout the week or one of the live stream episodes, hit me up at my email at warflesmorphs@gmail.com, or hit me up on Instagram as well. I'll talk to you. I'll find out exactly what you're looking for. We can go over how the sponsorship works, and I'll personalize an advertisement for you as well, just like I did for Chris and Gershon from GP Snakes so far. Basically, all I do is find out what you're looking for. I come up with the whole thing. I send it to you and wait for your approval. And we find something that you'll like, and we run with it. So definitely think about a sponsorship if you'd like to get your name out there in the community and build your brand. That's going to be it for this episode, everybody. Take care. Later.